Okay, Leanne, we are good to go.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leanne Hannaford. I work as an educator and brand ambassador for the leading company in hair smoothing and hair products. And that company's name you will hear over and over from me is GKhair. GKhair has a very interesting history and very powerful and successful. So before we get into what we're going to be learning today, I always start my classes with a very brief overview of our company, how it came together, who brought it together, and what makes us synonymous with the name of Brilliant Restored Smooth Hair. GKhair started in 2007. And I believe always in my life, I have always thought that knowledge and information are two elements in life that deliver success in many fields, especially the fields such as ours, the hair industry, where it is highly competitive. And in order to be successful and have a brilliant reputation as a professional, you always have to keep up with the latest. And that is what GKhair delivers. We have an education site, as you're on with me today, every Monday, with highly talented educators who bring something different to the table all the time. What you will learn today from me in an hour, maybe less than an hour, is going to increase your revenue tremendously, always year round, but we are in spring, headed into summer. And we are going to be learning about one of the many smoothing treatments that GK offers. And that is called our resistant taming system. Before we get into the details and how it's done and what does it do, you need to learn about our product so that when you speak to your clients about this incredible product that you're going to be using on their hair to restore their hair, they're going to ask you questions and you have to have the right answers. So that is why I always start my classes with a brief overview of GKhair, our company, and what Juvexin is, which really was the catalyst that threw GK into the world, that we are in 5 continents: Australia, Europe, Asia, North and South America. And we have offices in Ireland, Brazil, Italy, London, and Australia. Being that the company was started by Mr. Van Taboli, our founder and CEO, in 2007, and later Ms. Megan McHugh, our managing partner, joined Mr. Taboli, and it was explosive. So as I told you, GKhair is a name synonymous with brilliant, smooth, restored hair. Why does this happen with Juvexin? Juvexin, through vision, through science that Mr. Taboli had back in 2007, years of research and trying to secure really a remedy for the hair. Why? Because through the years, through us doing chemical treatments, aging, pregnancy, and mishandling our hair loses a very primary protein that we need and we have as we're young to give it structure, strength, shine, and manageability. And that protein is called keratin. So back in 2007, Mr. Taboli found a remedy to take hair back to when we were younger and restore the hair back to its jovial, youthful state. Hence, Juvexin was born. What exactly is Juvexin? So a lot of you are going to say to your clients, I'm going to be doing a
One
search
second,
for
I'm
you.
trying to sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know if someone is trying to get a hold of our site. Okay, so back to Juvexin. What is Juvexin and why does it work? Juvexin is an anti-aging protein blend that was optimized to restore the hair from the inside deep towards the outside. How is this done and why does it work? It has two molecules. One molecule is very powerful and it has the ability to go very deep to the deepest part, really, of the cortex and prepare the hair for the absorption and or the deposit of the protein Juvexin. That's what this small molecule does. It goes deep into your hair and it allows the hair and prepares the hair for the deposit of what you're going to be applying. Simultaneously, it has a large molecule, and that molecule has the ability to wrap itself around the hair shaft, creating a protective shield to protect exactly everything that you've put into the hair, everything you've deposited. And so that shield stays in your hair and it seals all the properties of the Juvexin that went into the hair shaft. So, long story short, after years of research, Mr. Vantaboli came up with Juvexin. It regenerates the hair cells because that's what it does from the inside out. It's a very strong protein. It is taken from the wool of the sheep in an environmentally precision area, and it is just taken in its natural state. We extract it, and it is compounded with other properties that create the Juvexin. So that's why I said in the beginning of the class, you're going to hear Juvexin a lot. It's going to probably go deep into your brain and stay there, because when you offer this service, being that we're in summer and it's to be done year round, but more so summer, everyone wants smooth, frizz-free hair. This system is going to deliver sleek hair, restored hair. It will impart tremendous shine in the hair, and it lasts between 3 to 5 months. It is important, of course, it depends on the client's hair texture, whether she has virgin hair, and typically virgin hair, it takes multiple sessions, probably 2, you'll see a better result. It's still going to work because it's virgin, so that cuticle is very tight, and the objective is to open the cuticle so that the deposit of all the properties go deep into the hair. Juvexin will do this. It is good for all hair types. Our treatment can be used on color-treated hair, hair that's been lightened, hair that has had a Japanese straightening, relaxed hair. It also is done many, many times. And you have to keep in mind that this is a restorative treatment, so it never will hurt the hair. And it can be done on virgin hair as well. So pretty much it's for any hair type. Okay. Who is your client that should receive resistant? Because remember, GK has 5 other treatments, including our latest vegan line that was launched about maybe close to 2 years ago, but we're going to be talking about resistant. Resistant is our most powerful. It's an aggressive treatment from the standpoint that it does have its chemicals, although very slight, it has it. And it is a treatment for people who have hair that, for example, is very unruly, very resistant, coarse hair, and as I said, also virgin hair. What will it give them? It will give them sleeker, smoother hair. It will give them shinier, and I say what it does, it restores the hair back to a very healthy, youthful state. So for your client that has a very strong curl pattern, hair that is very coarse in texture, hair that is mega frizzy, this is what you want to educate them on, that there is a system, or GK resistant taming, that will do this for them and just totally take their hair and change it. So it can be done, as I said, on all hair types. Hair that's been lightened, relaxed, Japanese straightening, colored, even hair that shows discoloration. What do I mean by discoloration? A lot of times when I do corrective coloring, people come to me with color bands on their hair. Their hair has been lightened, and they go over the lightening process and they strip the hair more, and it's a mess. So it too can be done on hair that is discolored. And that is the goal of our taming systems, to bring your hair back to its youthful state. And resistant is for the hair type that is pretty strong in curl and frizz and tightness and so forth. So this is what we're going to be learning about today. The process is quite simple. It's very easy to do. It lasts anywhere between 3 to 5 months before you do any type of smoothing treatment, particularly resistant, because it has its chemicals in it. It is advisable, as I do with all my clients, even if they're doing color, to have a consultation with your clients. And there's very important factors as to why. First of all, are they pregnant? Are they nursing? If they are, they need to go back to their doctors, let them know what they're going to be doing, the type of system. They are free to go into our websites. We're a very transparent company where we list all of our ingredients that are in each and every one of our products. Not to mention that Juvexin is in every product that GK has, from our taming systems to our colors to any hair product that we have for Aftercare. So a consultation is key to get a history, pretty much. Has your client had a taming before? Did they have a reaction? Are they allergic to anything? All those points are important because they can work in your favor, number one, so that there's no problem should she have a reaction. You did the system and you didn't even ask if she's highly allergic. That is why consultations are key, especially when you're doing a costly service. This service is a costly service because you're using the best that there is in GK. And that's a fact. We own the patents and they're amazing what they do for your hair. So consultations, you have to get their history. You have to be honest and pretty much let them know the time frame. It takes a while to do a taming system, especially if they have very long hair, because there's more applications, there's more iron passes to do on the hair to seal the system. And so it's time consuming, and they need to know, should they have children in school, they can plan their day with you and there'll be no issues. Also, within that consultation, you should discuss, and we recommend that you discuss with your client your service fee so that there's no surprises and everyone is happy at the end of the service. Okay, we're going to start in a minute. And here is my last point that I wanted to make. And I know I'm going to repeat it again, but this way it's going to hit home when I start to do the application. Remember that hair is comprised of a protein that is called keratin. And keratin and protein filaments are all comprised together, and it equals that one name, keratin. It has chains of amino acids, which deliver strength and structure to your hair health. And that is why keratin is so very important in your hair. As collagen is to your skin, keratin is important to our hair because we age and we lose it, not to mention all the things we do to our hair. So this is an opportunity to restore that hair back to its state for all your clients. And the more you do it, it's a progressive treatment, the better your hair gets. Why? Because you're constantly putting in the hair keratin, the healthy protein. Okay, when we start our system, we call it a pre-treatment to what you're going to be doing to your client. Everything has to be prepared perfectly so that it just goes smooth and you do attain the full benefits, 3 to 5 months of longevity of the service you're going to be doing. This is one of my key points that I'm super strong on, because I know after having done this for so many years, I'm proud to say I've never had a client come back and say, you know, what you did on my hair only lasted 6 weeks or 7 weeks. Never. Because for a reason, GK has developed the correct way to apply a smoothing treatment. And it makes sense when you think about it. Before we go into it, I just want you to keep in mind, I always like to bring examples where women can kind of get it, because they've all been through facials. So when you go get a facial, what do they do to your skin? They prepare it with what? A steam lamp. And they let that steam on your face for about maybe 10, 15 minutes max. What are they trying to do? They're trying to open your pores relative to hair now. I'll explain it in a second, so that they can do extractions. And then when they go ahead and massage your special creams and collagens and elastin vials, and then finish with a mask, everything penetrated. So you leave your facial chair and your skin is glowing. They did it correctly. Same concept, but with hair. So the pre-treatment before you start your service is our pH plus clarifying shampoo. This is an 8.5 alkaline shampoo with aloe vera in it to protect the scalp and the hair shaft. But the 8.5 alkalinity in the shampoo is strong. It won't damage your scalp, it won't damage your hair shaft. The aloe vera takes care of that. You are going to massage the shampoo into a rich lather after, of course, you wet your client down. And you're going to give her somewhat of a strong massage in the scalp. And what is your purpose? Several. Because the shampoo allows for that. It removes impurities from your scalp, hair products, anything that you have in there, gels, hairsprays, oils, everything. That's what it needs to do. So that's what it's going to do is you massage it and you really get into that scalp, and then go ahead and extend it to the hair shaft. It should take you about, depending on density and length, I typically do it for about 2 minutes, you know, really strong. And I work the hair shaft and the scalp. And then I let it sit for 3 minutes, not 2 minutes. This is where I'm strong, not 2.5, 3 minutes. This is the way it was designed by our company. So educators just follow, and we've studied what the company formulated. That's why I say 3 minutes. It's not something that I invented. This is the way it should be done. And you let that shampoo sit on the scalp, sit on the hair shaft. If she says, oh, my scalp is tingling, it's not an issue. It's normal. It's strong. So she's feeling it in the follicle. I mean, in the scalp, and that's okay. It'll go away. I tell them, relax, nothing's happening. That means the shampoo is working. After 3 minutes, you're going to rinse it off, maybe not totally, but most of the suds, and you're going to repeat the same shampoo. Same manner, rich lather, massage, 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 and put your timer on for 3 minutes. 3. And when it's done, you're going to rinse very, very well with tepid water, not cool, just tepid warm, but comfortable warm. And typically a good rinse of about depending on length, again, and density, maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes. You want to make sure that that hair, as you're rinsing, you're going to be thinking, how am I even going to get the knots out of this? Because it's going to feel like a frayed rope. Think of a rope that's frayed and you wet it and it just feels nasty. That means you did a great shampoo, your pre-treatment, and that you opened the cuticle. And after that is done, then we're going to go now into the application. But I do want to make one very important point. If your client has virgin hair, and we all know what virgin hair is, never been touched by anything, so that cuticle is as tight as it can be, you're going to do 3 shampoos. 3. Very rarely, and this, as we know as professionals, there are tricks and things that we learn as we go through life and in our profession. So I've only used it maybe a couple of times. I can't remember. I've been doing this for so long, but I'm going to say minimum 2 times, where you get a client that has so much product in her hair and she hasn't shampooed in maybe a week, and she's got gel and she's got texture cream and she's got hairspray and you name it, she has it. So perhaps, depending on her texture, she may need a little push to get the cuticle open. As a professional, you will judge that. And what you will do is the following. You will shampoo her, like I said, 1 time. But instead of leaving her in the basin for those 3 minutes, put a processing cap on and put her under the dryer, I don't know, 3, 4 minutes under medium heat, because heat, as we know, expands the hair. It works on the face, it works on the hair, and it will help blast that cuticle just enough so that when you go ahead and rinse her, that cuticle is open. Then you shampoo her twice. You don't have to put her twice under the hair dryer. You just need to do it once. You're kind of helping that shampoo finish blasting that cuticle. And so when you rinse, all those impurities and, more than anything, hair products will come out. So that's something that I do. It's not part of our steps, but it can be done under the right circumstance. Like anything in life, sometimes you need a little push here and there to achieve your goal. But pretty much this pH Plus shampoo from GKhair is all you need, and a good shampoo. Don't forget the 3 minutes. Okay, so let's say now I want you to write down some of the steps, because I want to tell you what they are, and then you'll see me perform on my mannequin the way that it's done. So we've covered the shampoo, 3 minutes. Okay, you're going to towel dry her, take her to her chair, and you're going to section her. I typically section depending on length. Many times I just do 4, 1, 1, 1, and 1. That's 4 sections. It's whatever you're comfortable with and whatever type of hair your client has. If it's very long, sometimes you need an extra section. Go ahead and section her according to the service that you're going to be doing so that you can work comfortably for her. You're going to go ahead and dab your brush into your bowl. And before we get into the actual application, I just want to I have this handy here. Don't, I was going to show you something. Don't apply excess to your bowl. Start with 1 ounce, because you can always add more. So when you do your resistant, your bottle, make sure that you turn it upside down and you just kind of shake it, because a lot of times all the properties fall down into the bottom. It's like anything, you have to shake it a little bit, agitate the bottle so that everything is even inside the bottle. And so this is about what I typically start with. This is not my resistant, by the way. This is just our color protection conditioner. I use it because it's pretty much the same consistency, a little thicker, of course, the conditioner, but I use it so that you can actually see the application. So start with about an ounce, and then you're going to work your way through. You're going to apply it a 1/4 inch away from the root area, a 1/4 inch, and you're going to dab the resistant on the hairs lightly. Do not saturate it. You'll be blow drying for 2 years. You dab it on the hair shaft, you massage it with your fingers. Of course, you use gloves, and then you take a fine tooth comb and you distribute that section. You just comb it. And then you go to your next strand of hair and you do the same thing. It's very simple. You start at the nape. Now you cover the entire hair. As you're applying the resistance, starting in the neck, it's important that you have next to your station a water bottle, a mister, because remember that water is the vehicle for the service of resistant. It keeps that hair moist, and it helps the resistant smoothing system go into the hair shaft, the cream. So you might want to mist. If you see, you start in the back always. As this hair begins to dry, because it does, just mist it. You want to make sure that the hair is equally damp, and it stays damp as you apply the resistant to the hair. Then you're going to begin your blow dry, and you want to put your blow dry on full force of the power of the blower, but you want to do it on medium heat. And the reason you don't use high heat is because high is very hot. The resistant is on the hair shaft, and you don't want to kind of burn it off. You know, you want that resistant, the formula, to stay on the hair. So you want to use medium heat, full force. And that's how you're going to do it. And you're going to use your round brush. GK has an array of thermal brushes, ceramic, and they're great. They grab the hair, and this is one of our thinner ones here, but we have thicker bristles that work very, very well with thick, coarse hair. And you're going to begin to dry the hair. It's going to take some time because it's not like you're blow drying water. Anybody does a blow dry in 15 minutes, pretty much. You're drying cream. You're drying this into the hair. So it's going to take some time. But what you're doing is not only are you drying it, you're beginning to do the sealing with our round brush. It begins to go into the hair shaft, and you're beginning to seal it. The final sealing comes from our titanium iron. So I wanted to explain that to you. So after you've blown out the hair completely and smoothed it, now you're ready to finish. And the finish is the flat iron. And it's important to keep in your head choosing the right temperature for the type of client's hair that's in your chair. So for fine color treated hair, I would say you can start at 400 and you can work into 420, no more than that. I like to start a little bit more conservative. I typically do all my services on the conservative side because I know I have the ability and the option that I can go hotter or less. So it's always better to go into it easier, start in the nape, and see how your hair reacts. I typically start on fine, like my hair is very fine, hair that's been heavily highlighted. Even though it's healthy, it's compromised to a degree just because of the level of color that you're at with highlights. So it's delicate hair. I start at about 395 and I test it back here because your hairline is typically really the most delicate. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't. I learned it years ago. Why is it the most delicate? Because it's where it takes the abuse. Everybody, most girls that they're going out on a date or whatever, what do they work on? What people see. Their hair, their bangs, their curtain bangs, the sides, and they work the bottom. And they figure as long as I have this, the money piece, super smooth and straight, they don't really care what goes on back here, but they want the front done. So it takes a lot of abuse from thermal tools, your blow dryer, and then obviously your flat iron, if that's what they use to do a finish, or a curling iron, regardless, it's thermal. And so back here, besides the fact that you have to start in the back, is where I begin to test how the hair responds to 395. If I can seal it with 395 and do my passes, how many passes depends on the texture, but I'm going to say probably no less than 5 or 6, then I'm good with it. And what are you searching for when you flat iron? Shine. And you lift the hair and that hair just drops like a little girl that has virgin hair at 10 years old that has that hair that moves when she walks or when she sneezes. That's when you know the hair is finished. And it's going to start to react probably after 3 passes, depending on your texture. And you'll see that hair just pop up with tremendous shine, and it's all united. It's just so healthy. So if you don't see kind of anything like that after 3 passes, you might want to zap it up to 400. And trust me, you'll find your comfort zone where the hair is responding to the heat that you've chosen until you hit it just right. So this is just an approximate figure between 400 to 420. I just like to suggest, look at you as a professional, you look at your client and you go, the back is a little bit too compromised for my, the way I feel about it. Let me start at 395. And then you can work the mid shaft up to 415, 410. You've got to test it out. And then we suggest, again, approximate, to do coarse hair, very wavy, that you've worked on a strong curl pattern, a lot of frizz. You might want to go ahead and start at 420, and then you can always go to 450 if the hair can accept it. And to me, this is critical. The pre-treatment of the shampoo and the finishing of the iron go hand in hand with giving you the success that you're looking for. So don't lose sight of what you're doing for the particular client, okay? One last point before I do my application. Of course, virgin hair, you go ahead with 450. Go at 430. It's virgin hair. So you need that help to finish, sealing into that cuticle what you've put in. But on gray or very white hair, be very careful, because a very hot iron, it happened to me many years ago, and I share it with a lot of my students. The hair, when I did it, she says, oh, you got to put my iron hot, because and it's true, her hair was extremely curly. And I went to 350 and her hair turned yellow. Yellow represents burn in color. Like, think of when you're ironing a silk or a cotton blouse and you have your iron super hot. It's happened to me. A white blouse, if you put a hot iron on it, that the temperature is not chosen correctly, it looks yellow. You burnt the material. So on hair that is white, 350, really stay around 350. Yes, you will have to increase your passes, but it's fine. It will not burn. So just be cognizant of white hair, because it can show a yellowish hue if you use too hot of an iron. So you will just have to go ahead and pass that iron at 350 a little bit more. Okay, so we're ready now. I've given you the steps. Be aware that you have to remind your client that she cannot wash her hair for 48 hours. There's a downtime of 48 hours, no clips or pins or anything in her hair that can mark it. If she happens to, it rains, she doesn't have an umbrella, she needs to go back home, blow out the section that got rained on, and then flat iron it. Just that one section that got wet. And of course, when they pay the service of your resistant hair smoothing, it should be more, I know the demographics are different everywhere, and I understand that, but we'll use me as an example. I'm in Miami, Florida, and my smoothing treatments, it doesn't matter which one I use, start at 350. And that's where, if the hair touches the bra strap here, it's an automatic 350. If the hair continues and it's down past their shoulder to the back of their bra strap in the back, you have an additional easily 5 to 6 inches of hair. That requires more product, more time to blow dry, and more time to seal. So you have to increase your price accordingly. How do you increase it? Pretty much hair, and I'll give you an estimate. When I get very long hair, and I work with a lot of Latins in Miami, their hair is always long. So typically when it just passes the brow strap and drops down 3 inches, they're at 400. And it can go as high as 550 if it's down almost touching their waist. It all depends. And they're always satisfied. So longevity in a service such as our smoothing treatments require, and we guarantee it, so long as you teach your clients that they must or should, highly recommend that they should. I'm not going to use the word must, but I tell them, our Aftercare line. Why? Because they all have Juvexin. And our smoothing treatments, the foundation of a successful service is Juvexin. So every time that they shampoo, whether it be our, for example, our color protection shampoo, they all have Juvexin. So you're constantly putting into the hair, and it comes with its conditioner. You're constantly putting in Juvexin. So of course it's going to strengthen the resistant treatment you did. You're keeping it steady in the hair. This is one of our gold line products that we have, and it has argan oil, shea butter in it, and it has the aloe vera in it. So this is one of our highest shampoos that we have for protecting the hair. We have our CBD for those who are on the vegan end of things that they use for their bodies and their hair. We have our CBD shampoos. They're fabulous. They come from our Juvexin V2 made out of quinoa and pea protein. And all of that have fatty acids in it that feed the hair. So they must use our shampoo and conditioners and obviously our masks, and their longevity on their service will be between 3 to 5 months. No salt water. They got to protect it with a leave-in moisturizer in there. No chlorinated water. Our shampoos are SLS free, SLES free, sulfate free, you name it. And so it's very important that you educate them on that expensive service. So going forward, we're going to start the application. I'm going to move this back so you can see. And we're going to be good to go. Just kind of put this here. You're going to be wearing gloves. I'm not wearing them because I'm not working with the actual resistant. I'm working with a conditioner. But yes, you will be wearing gloves. And what I wanted to tell you about your partings Let's get this here. Where is she? We'll just move her so that you can see a little better. Okay. As you do your partings, remember we said a quarter of the application starts a quarter-inch away from the root area, but it's important that you take the right size section. So because I want full penetration. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you a little trick that I do for the application. So here she is. You can kind of see the transparency underneath the hair in the back. There's a section. I'm a little crazy with lines when I work, so that's why you see me. It's just one of my bad faults. I like straight lines. Anyways, so here's my first section. And for some reason, okay, here we go. I lost my visual. So you see the hair, if I were to hold it this way, it's very loose. You can see the tail of my comb. You can see it as I move it up and down. Why is that important? Because when you apply the resistant, you want maximum penetration. If you were to get a very thick parting, even though you're massaging it into the hair, there's going to be bits and pieces of that hair strand that are not going to have the cream in it. So make sure that your partings are nice. They're not too thick. You don't have, not too thin, but you can see that rat tail there. And so you're going to go ahead and apply about a quarter-inch. I'm just going to lay that there. And you can see where the root and where I put my first dabbing of it is like right here. I think you can see that. And here's her scalp. So there's a little space there that you want to leave out, okay? Then you're going to continue. Remember what I said, apply lightly. Do not heavily saturate the strand. Don't think that because you super saturate it, it's going to last a year. It's not. And you're going to be blow drying for 2 years because it's going to be very hard to blow dry this cream, the amount of cream. If you oversaturate, you're going to be blow drying, and it's going to be very difficult to manage. So just go ahead and do very lightly spurts of it. And you'll see I'm kind of exaggerating so you can see how I apply it. Every 1.5 inches or so, I'll go ahead and do just the top layer, okay? And then you'll see what I mean. As we head down to the bottom of the shaft, the end part, you can just kind of go ahead and do an X. And this is how to apply it. Notice that I wasn't punching the hair, trying to jab in there the cream. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to massage it. So I go contrary to the growth. I go up, but then I go down too. And as I get to the top, right here where I put my first dab, I'm just going to kind of do a circle to make sure that I'm grabbing each hair in that strand. And so then you're going to take your fine tooth comb and all you're going to do is comb it. And there you have your first application of your strand. It's really very, very simple. You can go ahead and do your second application. And just go ahead and, oh, I had it already done here. Your other party. And here it is. That's the one that I divided in half. And you can see the rat tail move on the strand of the hair. And we're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to move to the front of the hair to show you how to apply. So we'll do this one more time. And we're gonna, like I said, start a 1/4 inch away from the root. And we're gonna do it. There's my first application. And here's the scalp. So that's the kind of like the space that I leave out. As you do it more, you're gonna work quickly. I do this very quickly. It's just that I'm teaching now and I wanna make sure that you understand everything. So we're gonna go ahead and go on down the line. Try not to put too much on your brush because you don't want to waste it if it falls on the floor. And here's the ends of her hair. I just kind of do an X and I begin to massage the hair. I go up, 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 up. As I get to the top, I do semicircles, as you can see, a massage without touching the scalp. Don't think for 1 minute that if you touch the scalp, anything's going to happen. It's not. But it's not the way that it should be done. And so I take the hair, I comb it, I distribute it. Remember we did this first piece? I unite it. And now I just kind of put it together and we're done. And you would continue to do this section, however you want to section her hair. Then you would do this side. After you're done with this right side, you go ahead and you start on the left until you reach up here. Now, when we come to the sides, we have to be a little bit careful because it's something that I struggle with. It doesn't matter if I'm cutting, if I'm doing a balayage or whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm sure a lot of you do telephones. And it's very important when you're working with anything really that could burn the eye, you have to tell your client, leave your head where I put it until I'm done. So I went ahead and did my first cut here. You can start sideways. This is a matter of preference, really. I'm just showing you that I like to start in this angle. I always have, because I like to do everything that requires balayaging, foiling, whatever it is that I'm doing. I like to start where the hair grows, in the direction, because it's easier to part and it falls very natural because I'm not going contrary to a brick line, for example. The hair is round, the head, and it has different shapes of where the hair is born. And if you work with that, your lines will be so easy to create. So I personally like to work how her hair grows. And this time, her hair is not growing back here. It's growing on the side of her cheek. So when you apply, going back to the eye area, I just want you to look at where my hand is. Where is my hand? Look at my hand. If I was working on her this way, I'm touching her face, her cheek. It's uncomfortable because you're working this way. So because I'm going to be working with a chemical, I don't want to do this. First of all, I don't want to have my hand next to her. She probably doesn't want it either. So I'm going to take the hair back, as you see, and tell her not to move because I'm going to be working around the cheek, the nose, the eyes. Anything can sprinkle when we're working with creams and or liquids. I offer her a towel. She can take a towel, for example, and she can just temporarily, as I'm working in this area, she can go ahead and just cover her eyes till I'm done. It's up to her, but you're not going to apply it towards her face. You're just going to kind of go back Here's her growth of her hair. And so you do your first application there, backwards. I work this way. And you go ahead and you pull it back as you see me doing. I'll get a little closer. You can see the lines right there. And until you get down to the bottom, there it is. And then you do your X and you begin to massage the hair with the treatment in it. And you just pin it back. And you would go to your next section. Same concept, same application, and you would just go ahead and take your next section right here, and of course, apply the cream in that same manner. Obviously, when you get to the crown here, it's a bit easier because notice that the hair here grows straight down and you can do your partings and you can work downward. If she has bangs, curtain bangs, whatever, be careful as you apply anything again that would be around her face. Be very careful. And you would do the following. Same concept that I said, apply it back. It's kind of hard for me to get in here. Okay, so let's say that's her first party, right there. So let's say that's a bang, and bangs are tricky because they're either texturized or razored, and they kind of want to come out. So take a piece of hair. Again, you're not going to do what I'm going to show you. You're not going to do this and apply downward, because you would have to do this. Are you really going to cover her face like this? To put on your first, are you really going to work this way? You can't. You have to go back. So you would take the hair back. Still, she should be covering her eyes. I know some people say that I exaggerate, but it's okay because nothing's ever happened. And then, she needs to put her head back. And it's a lot easier because if she puts her head back, you're like this, like when you're applying color around the frame. You go like this, and you go like this, and you go like this. And there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not near the root. And you would go ahead and finish up doing your application and then massaging it all the way in. That's it. That's it. That's all there is to the application. Very simple. And then, of course, I don't have to tell you. Well, there's one part I want to show you when I get to the flat iron. You will go ahead and put your blower on full force, medium heat. You begin in the back to blow dry her, blow dry her. You're starting to seal the hair with your round brush. And then now we're ready to flat iron. So when you're ready to flat iron, this is what I wanted to show you, and then we're pretty much done. You're gonna choose your temperature on your iron, and you're going to do a tapping on, just put her down. So now I'm ready to flat iron. I'm just gonna try to get to that same piece of hair that I did. Find it, it's down here. Okay. Okay, so now I'm ready to flat iron. And GK has several irons. One of them, of course, is our titanium. We call it our D700. It's very thin. It can be used on wet or dry hair with a plate. See how thin this is? And we also have our bigger easy control iron, and it's a lot wider. You can see it, so it grabs more hair. But this one works good when you have to get close to the nape and go ahead and you seal that service in. It's very important that when you do this, you grab, again, the importance of grabbing the right amount of hair, because when you do your final sealing, you have two plates, the top and the bottom. So if you have too much thick hair here, because you want to finish quick, and you grab too much hair, what is going to get most of the heat when you iron? What is it? The bottom, because the plate's on the bottom, and the top, because you have the plate on the top. But what happens to the hairs that are in the middle if you got too much hair in your sections? The middle hair isn't receiving the heat. It gets some heat, but never like the one that's on the top or the bottom. So the transfer of equal heat has to happen in order for every hair to receive that heat transfer and finish sealing the deposit of the service. That's why I said to you, my two top peeves when doing a treatment is pre-treating the hair and getting it ready for the deposit, and the iron. If you use an iron that is way, way too hot, it will have an adverse effect. Forget the white hair, that's another story. Too much incorrect heat on the wrong texture will have a reverse effect in that. What does heat do? Opens. So if you put this hair, let's say at 450, when she only requires 410, yes, you're sealing to a degree, and it's going to look beautiful when you're done ironing, but the cuticle remains somewhat open, somewhat, because heat opens. So when you're getting ready to seal, make sure that your temperature is correct, and you go ahead and you start your process. So you get close to the root. That's what this iron is so good for. It's very, very thin, and it allows you to grab the hair. You want to tap twice as close as you can get to the root, such as this. I'm going to exaggerate now. And then slowly, you're going to go ahead, come down, come down, come down. Never stopping, just an even, smooth flow. Don't stay on a particular section because you're burning it. It has to be an even flow. So you tap it twice in the beginning, and then you begin to come down, come down, come down until you finish your passes, whether it's 5, 6, whatever it may be. And that hair will begin to show the shine. But this is about as thick as I go, this hair, in my sections, because of the transfer of heat. So I think you can see that. And so there's no way that the heat is not going to go through that. Yes, it's going to take a long time because it's being done properly. That's why when you have your consultation, you have to tell your client, once you see how much hair she has, what type of hair, an approximate time. What is an approximate time? I'm going to venture to say between 2.5 hours. Should it be like a mid, right, a bob, all the way through sometimes over 3.5, depending on length. If you do the math, let's do a shampoo math. Each shampoo is you're going to massage it for about 2.5 minutes. You're going to let it sit 3. Right there, you have 5.5 minutes. You're going to rinse it, maybe another 1.5 or 2. You're going to repeat the other shampoo, 5.5 minutes. Now you got to add that. Then you're going to rinse for about 5. So you have just in prep work about 20 minutes. Then you're going to towel dry, you're going to detangle her, and you're going to begin to apply it all over. Then you got to go back and blow dry, which is going to take long because drying cream into hair takes time. Then you got to go back in section and begin to flat iron and seal the hair. So that's why I stress consultations with allergies, pregnancies, whatever, time and what it's going to cost her. No surprises at the end of the service. You cannot rush through this. You cannot. Because, oh, my child, if you rush through this to accommodate your client because you did not have a consultation, she's going to pay you, but she will be back in your chair. I guarantee you that. Probably in 6 weeks to tell you that her hair's frizzy because it was rushed. The proper ironing didn't go through. The proper shampoo didn't go through. Everything. That's why no surprises. And you will be very successful. And she will be a very happy client. And she's going to share her information, her experience at your salon with you. So after you've ironed the hair, again, don't forget the bang area. When you do your bang area, do not iron close to the forehead. Do not do this, whatever you do. As it is, clients get nervous with flat irons. They do. I would. So do not dare do this. Look where that hot iron is on her forehead. So you have to take the hair, you know, you're going to tap it twice, 1, 2, and you're going to go backwards. Same thing with the sides. You're going to do the sides. You're not going to do this. Where is the iron? Her cheek, her ear. You're going to take the iron, you're going to tap twice, and you're going to go back. It's all for the safety of your client and yourself as a professional. Once you've completed the ironing, you're done. And the service will be beautiful because she will see her hair is going to look night and day. You have filled it with the protein keratin. You filled it, you cured it. You brought back life, you brought back manageability. The drying time is maybe 50% less. And the frizz will be gone. There will be a tremendous amount of shine. The cuticle will be tight. It won't be like this because you united it with the Juvexin. So that completes the application and the finish of our resistant hair taming. Don't forget about our shampoos. What can she use in between? You know, like some girls go to the gym. She should not do activity. Tell her to not do activity during those 48 hours that can induce sweating. You don't want to do that. To stay away from exercise for 2 days. So if she says, well, I have this thing, I can't be without washing my hair that long, introduce her to our dry shampoo, our V2, Juvexin V2 shampoo. This eliminates frizz. It absorbs all the oils in the hair. It smells like if you just had it shampooed, it eliminates frizz. The carbohydrates that are in our extracts, the natural seed extracts and botanical extracts that are in our dry shampoo, does all of that. It creates texture in the hair. It does not flake at all, at all. So she would lift her hair so you can show her. And about 5 inches away, she sprays only the root with our dry shampoo. And she would go ahead and lightly just go ahead and rub it in. Take the next section, spray the root, massage it, and she goes all over. She's done. And her hair will smell literally like flowers. It's amazing, the smell. No flaking, eliminates frizz. It gives you texture. No flyaways. It has our B2 proteins in it because they're considered our superfoods, really, the quinoa and pea protein. And it prevents any hair from just kind of frizzing out. It works hand in hand. The beauty of our products is that everything, like I told you in the beginning of the class, has Juvexin in it. So you're always feeding your hair with the protein, Juvexin. So she can go ahead and do that. Can she put something in her hair before, she washes her hair to kind of control it? So this is our argan oil from our Moroccan tree. It seals and protects each strand. This is our serum, and it's lovely. Not only, don't think that it's heavy or anything. You would do 1 or 2 drops, put it through your hair, and I just kind of slick it back, and it really does texturize my hair. And she can do that. She can blow it out. This can be used on wet or dry hair. Obviously, she's going to be using it on dry because she hasn't had a chance to shampoo it. So she could put a little bit and just kind of go with the blower like this, and it'll stay divine. And then she can always finish with our dry oil shine spray. And watch what this does to my hair. And it imparts, it's very lightweight. Even though it says dry oil, it's from sunflower seed oils that they have. And it is for the UV, it protects you from the sun, it fights frizz, it doesn't allow flyaways, it is lovely, and it smells also delicious. So she can kind of style her hair until the 48 hours are up. GK has the products for that. They were formulated purposely, not just for our hair and how we restore hair, but to work hand in hand with our smoothing products. So I hope that you learned a little bit about something that is tremendously helpful to our clients in the summer season. For those of you who were not familiar with GKhair, you know a little bit about our company, where we are, and what we've reached in the continents of Australia, Asia, Europe, North and South America. From 2007, there was a lot of research, a lot of science behind it, using the best products that are available. So be rest assured that you will never be disappointed, nor will your client. So thank you for attending our class today. As I said, every Monday we have a different educator bringing great stuff to everyone. And with that, I leave you. My name is Leanne Hannaford. I'm in Miami, and I'm sure that I'll see all of you again very, very soon. Thank you and have a great week.